Honestly, I thought I was gonna start off like, "Hey, hey, hey, it's Fat Albert," but I'm such a fucking joke. Nonetheless, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Inside Perspective. Hmm. It's been a journey. It has been quite the journey that I have been on in 2022. Um, each month out of the year, I gave myself a specific goal to focus on. And like one of them would have been like, I think January, for instance, was about expansion. So everything that I already knew, I deepened that learning to grow. Um, February, March, like I can't remember the specifics. I can go back in my notes, but I picked something very specific to my healing journey every part of this month specifically. And one of the biggest ones that I actually extended from August until now was getting out of my own way. I literally had to get out of my own way because I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't have the success that I do if I were to keep standing in my own way. And a couple ways that that looks like that is the negative self-talk, the not believing in yourself, the saying that somebody else is doing it better or somebody else is doing it this way, so you need to change up your shit. Like that's standing in your own way because you have your own way of doing things and it's specific to you. And that's okay. That's great. That's actually amazing. Like you don't want to be a replica of some shit. Like you want to be your own, and just because your own doesn't match to somebody else's success doesn't mean that it's not good. And that was something that I really, really, really needed to teach myself, because September was a difficult month this year. Um, as you all know, I've been struggling. No, not struggling. I've been working through my anxiety and depression. My depression, I'm able to identify and manage. My anxiety, on the other hand, they're a little trickster. And so the anxiety started to get the best of me in September. I had a lot going on between relationships, like romantic relationships, friendships, connections, relationship with my family. Like it was just even the relationship with the relationship with myself was even a lot to to manage. And I started getting these really really bad panic attacks. To the point where one time when I was driving, I actually had to pull over because I thought I was having a heart attack. Um, and usually I'm really great at managing my anxiety. I go to the gym, I lift from some weights, might smoke a little something. I'm not gonna tell you what that something is, but I smoke a little something. And usually I'm okay and I can rock through it. But that was not working anymore. And I really was caught off guard because I just was like, well, if that doesn't work, then what what the fuck am I about to do? And so I was talking to my mom, and I was talking to a few of my friends, and they asked me if I would ever consider medication. And for a long time, I was completely against medication because I felt confident in the fact that I was able to manage my own emotions and balance my hormones in order to make sure that I kept myself up. But with so many things that was going on in my life, trying to get back on that horse was really hard, and I was getting dragged by my fucking ankle. I was getting dragged by my ankle between the relationship things I was talking about previously, work, the inside perspective. Like, Tip is my greatest achievement this year. Like, I love Tip. Like, I get excited to do this shit. I get excited to talk about it. Like, even if my anxiety or my nerves get to me, like, I'm still like, fuck it, let's do it. But at that time, y'all, it was it was really rough. And so I went to the doctor and I talked to him about potential medications that I could try that could help me. Um, but before that, I had a conversation with my soul sister, and her and I talked about it, and I just was like, I just don't want to feel like I'm dependent on a pill in order to make me feel okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm not good enough to balance my own hormones. Like that made me feel like shit. But sometimes we need a little help, and there is nothing wrong with that. Like nothing at all. So when I talked to her about, how her dosage is and what's going on, how she handles things, she basically told me like there's a couple different variations you can go with, right? Like you can do the one that kind of just helps you grab the reins on the horse. You can get the one that puts you on the horse and makes you feel nothing. The spectrum of it all. So there was that, or it was the help me grab the reins or put me on the horse and I feel pretty much nothing. And so it helped to kind of talk it out because I started learning what my options were. And that's when I scheduled my doctor's appointment. And I talked to my doctor and he prescribed, I told him what was going on, and he prescribed to me an anxiety medication. And it took about a week to get into my system. It was really hard because, like I said, medication to me just felt like I was quitting on myself, but really I was doing the best thing for myself possible because I was standing in my own way with the help that I truly needed from this medication. And as hard as it is to admit that I needed that help from that medication, I needed it. I needed it, and it helped. It helped so much. That week later, I would wake up and there's no more panic attacks. I would go to work and there's no panic attacks. Like, I felt like I can actually manage like my anxiety by doing the meditation, the yoga, the working out, the journaling. It felt like I actually had the reins again, which was awesome. Nobody likes to feel out of control. But I never thought that I would have needed medication for my anxiety. It was really hard to admit. I feel like in my community, in the Black community, it's really looked down upon whenever you need some extra assistance to get yourself together because we're so used to faking and projecting and playing the part of whatever we're supposed to look like or whatever it's supposed to look like. And that sucks because in the end you never really end up feeling what you truly need to feel. You never end up getting the help that you truly need. So I said fuck it to playing the part, to acting like I had everything together, to get some help. And I've been in talk therapy. Y'all know that I've been in talk therapy since I was 16, on and off. So the biggest reason why I created the Inside Perspective was to show the literal inside perspective of mental health issues and the battles that we face daily and how difficult it can be to be okay. To literally just be okay. Like, I'm not saying you gotta be great. I'm not saying you gotta be awesome. I'm not saying that you gotta be literally shitting rainbows and butterflies. Like, I'm just saying to just feel okay. And that medication helped. And it got me back on the horse. And now I have a couple different dosages. I can take one that so there's one option where I can take it. It's a higher milligrams, higher dosage. I can take it and then I don't have to take it again for another 2 to 3 days. Or there's one I can take every day. And I'm still figuring out what the hell that's supposed to look like. And I'm okay with that. And so I had to get out of my way and I had to give myself space. And by doing that, I've allowed my most creative, lovable self to be out, like to literally be. I'm more present. I'm able to connect with my friends better. I can hear my friends better when they're talking to me. Like before the medication, I just felt like I was in a swimming pool Just all I heard was a bunch of noises and words, but I couldn't truly hear it. And every time I felt like I got my mouth above water, somebody just dumped another bucket of whatever, and I was drowning again. And the entire perspective is created to help us find ways to cope, to heal, and to grow. And so I want to continue being as honest as I am in this process and starting the conversations or encouraging the thought process of how can I get out my way? How can I heal myself? And how can I be beneficial to myself and others? And in order to do that, you have to be really honest with yourself. Because without that honesty, you're going to keep playing the part. And so I encourage you to ask yourself, what part are you playing in your own demise? What part are you playing in your own success? What part are you playing in life? What part do you want to play in life? Shit, who do you want to be? What do you want your legacy to be? And for me, I want my legacy to be helping people find themselves and heal each other, because we've been through enough trauma and it's really time for us to live our lives happily. And I feel like we have to be or play this part in order to be respected or heard. It's time to hold other people accountable, including ourselves, but certainly other people in our lives. We hold these connections and relationships, and sometimes it's really important to ask yourself, why? Why do I have this person in my life? Are they feeding my ego? Are they helping me grow? Or are they treating me as if I'm less than in order to build their ego? What's the point? What's the purpose of this connection? What is it bringing to me? How can I grow from this? If the answers to all of those questions are not good, are not positive, I think you know the answer now. It's time to let those people go. Because in order for you to grow and become your best self, you got to stop carrying dead weight. You don't owe anybody anything. Let me rephrase. The only thing you owe other humans is common respect and decency. And it's really hard to give that to others because some of them barely even deserve it. But for me personally, in the way that I conduct myself, I find that I can look myself in the mirror at the end of the day if I know that I held somebody accountable and had the tough conversation, whether I remove them out of my life or not, or vice versa, they remove me out of their life or not because of me speaking up. I know that I did the right thing. I did the mature thing. It's not about right or wrong. It's about your maturity. And a lot of people are lacking maturity. I mean, it's hard. Who the fuck taught us this shit? And for so long, it was so easy for me to be mad at my parents, right? Like the arguing, the fighting, all the childhood trauma that I had, went through. For a while, I ignored the feelings of anxiety and depression because I just was like, well, it wasn't any type of like capital T trauma. So why do I have to, go to therapy or journal or whatever the fuck? Like, why do I need to do all that? But the human body is an amazing thing. And it remembers every single thing that has ever happened to it. Whether you pay attention to it or not, it remembers. And so it's really important that you go back and you revisit some of those traumatic times and give yourself the attention that you need. Give yourself the love that you need, the whatever. Like, I can't say all the words. I don't know what all of them are, but at the end of the day, you have to be there for yourself. You have to. You'll have some people that support you, and we're super and extremely grateful for those individuals. But at the end of the day, you have to pull yourself up. And that doesn't mean that you get to be an asshole once you do. There's two ways to heal. One, you become an extremely loving person, understanding person, and an empathetic person and a patient person. The other, an asshole, a narcissist, somebody that can never be serious, someone that will say the most meanest things in the world and then tell you it's a joke. Stop hanging around those people. You deserve better. We deserve better. I deserve better. And it's time that we start putting ourselves first, no matter who feels what about it. I know not all of us live in the safest situations, so do what you can to protect yourself and protect your mental health. But at the end of the day, it's time to start holding these people accountable. And these people can mean whatever you want it to mean. For me, these people, and I'm putting quotes around these people, are people who choose the easier route of healing. It's not realistic. It's not possible. There is no easy route of healing. You have to be extremely honest with yourself and think like, what could I do to better myself? Like, dead ass, get up. I'm getting up right now. Get up, look yourself in the mirror and ask, who do I want to be? How can I attack my dreams? And think, like, what's the answer? Mine? You're listening to it. The inside perspective is my dream. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I want to build. That's what I'm building. And that's what I'm going to continue to build. Because it wasn't until I found the healthiest way to heal that I started to see who I was and what I wanted to be. And then I can get the fuck out my own way. So ask yourself, are you standing in your own way? Are you standing in the way of your healing by coddling your own emotions, by not being honest with yourself? Are you standing in your own way with work by consistently saying yes to tasks that you're given that you know you may not be able to complete on time? So you force yourself to get through it in order to get the appeasement of a superior. Do you do the same thing at home with your parents, cousins, uncles, aunties? Do you do it with your friends? Are you standing in your own way? And if so, how can you get the fuck out of the way? Because 2023 is coming. And it's time for you to step into your power and learn how to heal yourself and those around you and to love yourself and those around you. Whenever I say heal the ones around you, I'm not saying it's your responsibility to go and do that, but what I am saying is set the example. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to try and learn and be empathetic towards yourself and others. And before you know it, you'll feel a difference. God, I love this shit, y'all. Thank you for listening. Happy fucking New Year, y'all. Let's attack this shit like we never did before. Until next year. Tip out.